Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So I'm continuing to work on the peahen's wing feathers today. Yeah, I'm going to be working on that for the next while. There's a fair amount of it. Yeah. So we'll see if I get to her neck and chest area by the end of the month. I might not. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it now that I won't finish this by the end of the year at my current pace. And that's okay. I'm all right with that. So I think I'm going to finish early next year. But it's not all just about finishing, right? I enjoy the journey. Yeah. Yeah, as often the case is why you can get a project finished but not finished, right? Like you finish all the stitching, but the actual, washing and ironing and framing and all that sometimes can take a while. Ooh. Yeah, I remember one lady saying she knit all the pieces of a baby sweater for her son and never sewed them together. And she's like, I might get it put together in time for when he has his own kid, because he's like 20 now, so yeah, it's always the way it goes, right? Yeah, I had one of my friends who said, you actually finish your projects, like actually finish them, hang them up and everything. It's just not natural. You're shaming the rest of us. Because yeah, it was funny. I made Christmas ornaments with the thread ends. She's like, you're even using the scraps to make finished products. Like, come on. But I said, those are easy though. Yeah. They're just little, plastic balls. You just pop the top open, stuff the threads in there, and then put the top back on. So that was super easy. Yeah. It's kind of a nice way to use up all the leftover threads, because I mean they just get thrown out otherwise, right? So yeah, I had someone say I guess you could make stuffed animals with them, but I'm like, I don't know, thread might be a little too densely packed for that, right? Might end up making it too heavy or even lumpy, I'm thinking, apart from like actual stuffing. So actually, I had one friend who said she saved her dryer lint and used it to stuff things. I'm thinking, yeah, but that's like super flammable. I'm not sure I would want to do that. Because yeah, one person I know who said actually they used it to make fire starters for, campfires, or if you have a fireplace. Yeah, they would take an old cardboard, toilet paper tube, and you put a little bit of the lint in there, and yeah, then you light that on fire, and it can work really well as for your kindling for, yeah, if you're building a fire in your fireplace. I said, yeah, but at the time, we still had, our guinea pig was still alive, and so I said, yeah, the dryer lint is full of pet hair. That would smell really bad. So yeah, it's a good idea if you don't have pets who shed fur, but yeah, if you have one who does, that might not be so pleasant. So yeah, I remember my dad used to do it. He would roll up a hollow tube of newspaper and then kind of tie it in a really loose knot. And then he said that when you light it, it would make this big air pocket so that it would like basically work as a, what's the word? A bellows, right? And yeah, like fan the flames itself. So yeah, I always thought that was kind of cool. We lived in one place that had not a fireplace, but a wood stove in the living room. And yeah, I used to love sitting there watching him build the fire. Yeah. Yeah, you got to be careful with those, though. I believe they do increase the amount you pay in house insurance because they're, the fire hazard. And yeah, when my husband was really little, they were in Europe, and they didn't have central heating. They had these little wood stoves to heat the room, and he was like 2 or something. And his mom said, yeah, he threw his stuffed animal and it landed on top of the wood stove. And this was back in like the late 70s, so didn't have as strict, rules for what could be in a kid's toy. And so she said, yeah, it started to actually smoke and filled up the room with fumes. And thankfully, some instinct of hers said, go check on the kids. She thought, oh no, they're taking a nap, they're fine. But yeah, some, mother's instinct just said, no, go check on them, make sure they're okay. And when she came in, yeah, the room was full of smoke. And yeah, so thankfully that could have turned out really badly, but it did not. She got there in time and got them out of there and yeah, aired out the room and they were okay. But yeah, she said that was pretty darn scary. Yeah, she said actually the hardest part was for weeks afterwards. He was asking, Mom, where's my stuffed animal? Yeah, because obviously it was destroyed. So but yeah, again, you look at the mock-up, this area looks more browns and golds, but when you actually stitch it, there's a lot more red in it than I would have guessed. Yeah. A lot more reds and even purples, because the flowers are there, but this is where the edge of the curve of her wing is, and there was quite a lot of purple in that area. I would not have expected it, but yeah. I've learned to trust the pattern. Because, yeah, I was thinking that when I was doing the last pass, this has so much red, I'm not sure about it, but once it was stitched up and I could back up and see the whole piece, yeah, it looks right. So, yeah, I remember there was somebody in one of the Facebook groups said there was she showed a close-up of this one she was stitching, and it was a person's leg that was sort of under the table, and she's like, and it was like red. I was thinking, this just doesn't look right, but she persevered, and once it was done, it was like, oh yeah, that is correct, because she was sitting at a desk or something like that, and so it was the shadow, and yeah, up close it was like, this doesn't look right, but yeah, once you had the whole thing completed, it was okay. I had similar with my Majora's Mask piece, the characters that were more in shadow because sort of all the light came from the fairy. So the parts that were in shadow, they were very purple, the faces. And I was thinking, I'm not sure, but yeah. Once it was done, it looked great, so. That was a new to me designer, but I was really happy with it. Was Pixels and Bits on Etsy, yeah. I was really happy with how it turned out. Yeah, so I'm kind of working along here. There's going to be another feather here. I'm not sure which direction I'm going to do first. So I'm probably going to work along here. I may continue to work downwards, or I may decide to come over and do that motif. I have not yet made up my mind. I will decide when I get there, so. Okay. Oh, pardon me. Oh, this color was out. I thought it wasn't, but it was. The right length leftover piece, because I've got like half a dozen of them. Yeah, so I think I have 3 more sessions before the end of the month, maybe 4. I'll have to double check, but I'll just Just make sure I'm at the right spot here. Yeah. Quite a few areas here stair-stepped along here, so I just have to make sure I am at the correct one. Because, yeah, I have done that before. I started stitching everything, and it was one whole big square off, and then, yeah. I didn't realize it till I put a couple dozen stitches in, and then I was like, ah, rats. Yeah, and I couldn't salvage it. It was very different from what it was supposed to be, so that meant a lot of ripping back, and I was not happy with myself. Yeah, still a ton of that color left to do. Not in this area, but yeah, in the more shadowy parts further down. Okay, definitely want a full-length piece here. Yeah, like I said, this month I was busy. I was digitizing all our old photos, so that took a while. But that's been something I've been meaning to do for years and had not got around to, so I finally did, so yeah. Yeah, it was actually kind of wild going through, and there's quite a, like, stuff that was over 20 years old, and like seeing parents that are the same age that, you know, I am now is just kind of surreal. Yeah. I said, I don't know why it's like in my mind, my parents are always in their 40s, 50s, even though it's like I'm in my 40s, so clearly that's not possible, right? But yeah. Yeah, so kiddo will go for his grad photos soon. Yeah, they have to go in on the weekend for little, like each student gets like, I think 20 minutes. Yeah, when I was in high school and we had ours done, they, over the course of a couple of days, they took us out of class one by one to do pictures. Yeah, but these guys aren't. They also did it earlier in the year too. So yeah, I said I look super, super young in my high school grad photos. Well, technically I was 16 because, yeah, my mom put me into kindergarten when I was 4 turning 5 rather than 5 turning 6. And they took the pictures at the beginning of the year because my birthday's not till October. So yeah. So I'm just one of those people who looks younger than they are. I always have. I had a lot of time in high school. High school was next to the elementary school, and a lot of people like the elementary schools over there, and they weren't trying to be snarky. They actually thought I was at the wrong school. Yeah. I have to say, yeah, thanks, but I'm in grade 9, you know? Yes, I know I look 10, but I'm actually 14, you know? Yeah, I had a couple of times. People mistook me as my son's older sister. And it's like, I was 25 when I had him too, you know? I didn't have him super, super young. But yeah, same thing as I was going through wedding photos. I remember there was a picture, my husband with his dad, and people are like, oh, is that his brother? I'm like, no, that's his dad. Yeah. Yeah, kind of a preview of what my husband will look like because they look very similar. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna kind of do a long stair step along here. So I'm thinking, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of cut it off here. I won't do anywhere below it, and I'm going to work this whole motif here and then go down and work some more there. That is what direction I think I will go in. Of course, I may change my mind, but I don't think so, yeah. So yeah, this is sort of where I differ from my diagonal method that I started with. Yeah, is following the colors of the motifs. So each little sort of, I don't know, it's almost like a parallelogram shape, kind of loosely. Or a, no, that's not a rhombus. Yeah, parallelogram. I could never remember those. Math class was a long time ago. Yeah, it was funny because I was seeing, there was a post somebody said about, you know, kids ask, why do we have to learn quadratics? Like, are we ever going to use them in real life? And, you know, the guy said, yeah, I mean, unless you're going into like, you know, physics or engineering or whatnot, yeah, the chances that you will use it are pretty low. Oh, I think I parked this wrong. Yep, I'm one row below what I should be. No problem, I can fix that. He said, yeah, but it's good to learn because it exercises your brain for those things, you know. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know, if you're like me, I feel like I'm almost going to pull a muscle because I'm trying to pick up something too heavy for me. Because yeah, like I said, my brain is definitely not wired that way. I was always good at like English language arts and stuff. The math and physics and that, not so much. I never even took physics. Yeah, we had the choice of physics, chemistry, or biology, and I took biology. Okay, so another short little bit. Yeah, my son took, they called it physical science. It's like not fully physics, and yeah, or whatever. That was for his science credit for graduation, so he finished that last year. So yeah, and like I said, they have their final exams end of this month. Although, yeah, a couple of them aren't exams, like he's taking visual arts, so they did a project for that. And I believe for their English class, instead of an actual test, they're doing a presentation or something like that. Yeah, if I remember correctly. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They don't call them provincial exams here, but it could be a different, because it's a different province. I graduated in BC, so yeah. I remember they were like really official. They were the exams that were sealed and you had to break them open with a pencil and stuff like that. Yeah. Ugh. We spent the whole year taking practice ones. Yeah. Boy, yeah, I was really anxious, but I did well. Okay. Okay, I think I can get a couple more stitches out of this. So it will park, even though it is super short. Yeah, start another one there. I won't stitch much with it. I'm just, yeah, like I said, I'm going to cut it off right at this sort of curve here. I will stitch that part later. So, but I feel like doing that one stitch in the corner there. Yeah, it's kind of wild because my Facebook memories are coming up with, we had super cold temperatures this time last year with wind chill below -50. Yes, 50. And yeah, lately we've been above freezing. It's just wild. Yeah, although I say we're not out of danger of a big cold snap until we're into, say, March. Generally, yeah, if we get through February without a terrible cold snap, we're usually okay. Yeah, we'll see how my apple harvest does, because I found the years we had a really good freeze, I generally had a better harvest, but not always though, because we had that major cold snap last year, and then at that summer, yeah, was just sort of an average amount of juice. The year before was just wild. I had almost 90 liters of concentrate. It was insane. Yeah. So I think some of it is that, but I think some of it is just, it may go in cycles. You know, some years it just produces better than others. Yeah. So. Like I said, yeah, I have 2 apple trees and one has been dying for a while. And I had someone saying, well, it's still producing, it's not dying. And I'm like, no, it, like, the trunk was half rotted through. I'm pretty sure that's not good. Yeah, it got a fungal thing. So, and it's just coming to the end of its life. I'm pretty sure it was planted when this house was built in 73. So yeah, like, that species lives 30 to 50 years. So, I mean, the fact that it's still producing is, yeah, pretty good. Okay, so. Yeah, so like I said, I can see another one that's sort of there. I'm going to work on this one that's sort of curving around above it for now. So yeah, I'm going to kind of limit myself, yeah, to this area here. There's a motif here, and that's what I'm going to focus on. So. And then, yeah, so it will kind of curve out that way, and I will just leave that part that is above it unstitched for now and fill it in later. yeah, I'm saying I think I'll hit 2/3 done, probably in March. Because, yeah, we're closing it on 60%. So March, maybe April, we'll see. And yeah, I may finally get my first zero. I'm going to guesstimate February. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Yeah, it's nice. Pattern Keeper also has the option that you can remove zeros, hide them from your list. So it's kind of nice then. By the end, you only have a few to go through. Yeah. Yeah, when I reach a zero, I take my envelope of floss, I put it back in my master set. So yeah, that's always pretty satisfying. Okay, 50 is out, I think, yes. Yeah, fortunately, they're done snow removal in this area for now. Yeah. Because it gets really, really loud. It's kind of funny, too, if I'm still in bed in the morning and I've got my headphones on, I could only just hear a little bit of it, and it sounded like whales. Yeah, from far away. I was like, what the heck is that? And then, oh yeah, it's the plows scraping. Yeah. I'm glad it hasn't been bad, because there's times they'll scrape it all up and they'll leave it piled in the middle and come and get it later. But yeah, it can be a pain to get to your own house because, yeah, they only sort of put areas to cross over at like the intersections and stuff. And so, yeah, like if your house is, you'd have to go the long way so that you could come down on the right side of this correct side of the street to get to your house, because you can't just come and turn left or whatever. Yeah. So. Yeah, then they bring these big like snowblower ones, and they actually blow the snow into the great big dump trucks, and then the dump trucks take them out of town. Yeah, when my son was little, he'd bring his little chair up to the window and sit there and watch it. And sometimes the guys would wave at him as they went by, which he absolutely loved. Yeah. Go. So yeah, like I said, it's gonna come and curve back there. That's what I'm gonna stitch now. And I will fill in below it later. So a fair number of live threads going for the moment. Yeah, there was some people who had joined and said, you know, like, do I have to park? And it's like, no, absolutely not. It's just one technique. There's plenty of people who have no interest in doing it, and that's totally fine. Actually, that's one thing I like about groups, is watching the different ways people will stitch the same projects. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I can see already I'm going to have one thread going one way and one coming around the other way. And they'll sort of meet at some point. Okay. So yeah, it kind of branches off there, so. Oh dear. It's pulling a thread out of here, and I managed to pull sort of half of it. Yeah. Managed to sort of split the one strand into its separate fibers by accident. That's no good. Okay, so I'm going to carry this one downwards that way. Got a hair in there, we don't want that. Yeah, the Victorians apparently used to embroider with hair on purpose. Yeah, to make keepsakes and stuff, but yeah, that's definitely not what I want to do. Okay, there we go. God, hair is being a pest. It doesn't want to go away. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I'm gonna kind of cut it off there so these strands kind of move out of my way. I will come back to them later. Yeah. Oh, hang on a sec. Yeah. Didn't mean to highlight. Yeah, while I work on sort of this round little shape, kind of oval shape there. And then yeah, come back to it later. Let's shift position here because my leg is falling asleep. That's no good. Yeah, this way I don't have to juggle too many needles at once, so I have sort of a nice balance between not having to rethread as often, but not getting too tangled either. past 100. Yeah, quite a few color changes, so that slowed things down a bit. Kind of did an extra little tack stitch there. That sort of made this thread carry go across here, then it'll get stitched over and I don't have to thread it under the already completed stitches because that's kind of a pain to do. Okay, so yeah, I decided that was where I'm going to cut it off, so I'm going to do some sort of working from the bottom up now in this area. You could, of course, continue working top down. It's totally up to you. Yeah, I just find sometimes building from the bottom up is just easier for me, so I switch to that. Okay, just double check I'm in the right place. Sort of just cross-checking with my grid lines and what's already parked there to make sure I'm in the right big square. So I don't think I'll reach 190,000 total by the end of the month. I was kind of hoping to be there, but yeah, at this point, I don't see that happening. So yeah, because I'm stitching not all from the top down, that does sort of close it in a little bit, but that's okay. not too concerned. Like I often say, I still try to make sure each stitch is connected on at least one side. That seems to help keep things neat and also avoid making counting errors quite as often. Unthread because, yeah, like I said, I'm just working this area. I won't be working that area yet. Oh, no, actually, I didn't park it there. I finished it, yes. Okay, just taking a look at the different colors here, which one I want to do next. Too short. So let me just grab a longer one. Yeah, there we go. Oh, wait a minute, something doesn't feel right back there. Let's take a look. Oh, darn. Yeah, I have got a great big freaking snarl here. Not sure which color it's from either. Yeah, something's not right back there. How annoying. Oh, yeah, I think I know what color it is right now. It's this one right here, yeah. Okay. All right, let me see if I can pull that back and fix it, or if I've got to do something else to try to get this to work. Yeah, it's been stitched into, so that is not going to release. Unless I rip a whole bunch out, which I really don't want to do. Oh my gosh, what a terrible. Okay. Okay. All right, so I managed to pull the knot apart. Now I've got some big loops along the back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some scrap thread. And I kind of loop it through the loop along the back and pull it taut and tie it off. And that just kind of smooths it out. Gets it to be flat. Yeah. Because, yeah, I can't really pick it free from the right side the way it's been stitched into. I don't want to rip out everything that I've done, so I'll do this instead. to secure it that way. That's really short. All right, instead of pin stitching, I'm just going to draw it along the back again. Come on, don't be a pain, all right? Just don't. Yeah, usually I catch those a little earlier, but for some reason this time I didn't feel it. There. Okay. So that's... yeah. So now, yeah, that's all smoothed out. There we go. Okay. Yeah, otherwise I would have had to sort of rip this whole area out, and I'm really not in favor of doing that. So yeah, so I had a knot on the back. I managed to pick it free, and then just I pulled the loop taut across the back rather than unpicking from the front. And you can't tell anymore, and like I said, it's smooth, there's no lump there, so I'm not going to have any issues when I finish it. When it's being mounted, that shouldn't be a problem because it's not lumpy. So yeah, if it was going to make a lump that could not be picked out, then I would have ripped back, but I would not have been happy about it. So. Yeah, it can be really hard to tell, especially when you're working with so many similar colors in an area, sort of which knot or loop belongs to what thread. Yeah, it can be a real nightmare trying to pick everything out. You know, these little imperfections give it character. One time I had a really bad snarl, and I tried so hard to pick it from the front that it actually ripped the thread in half. Yeah. That really sucked. I might actually even just use this thread and carry it all the way around and actually not have to start another thread from the top. Now that I look at it, I may be able to just do that. So, goodness, there we go. Goodness, I wonder if that's that same hair. Yeah, they get staticky and then they stick to you. No matter how hard you try to throw them away, they won't leave. Again, gonna double check. Can't remember how long this one is. Okay. Yeah, the length of threads that I already have attached is a big factor in what I decide to attach another thread or not. So yeah, I was working some from the top up. Now I'm going to work a bit from the bottom up, some from the top down, and then carry on from there. Okay. It's pretty windy out there. I wonder if that means the weather is going to change. get stormy. Although I don't have a headache, so maybe not. Yeah, I'll tell you, my head is a good barometer when we have a major pressure change. I get a headache, so then I can often tell you when a storm's coming. That and my ankle. Yeah, I have a ankle I wrenched really badly. Sheesh. Over 10 years ago now. And yeah, it just never quite healed properly. And yeah, when we're in for a major storm, it complains. Yeah, I was walking and I stepped where I thought there was still sidewalk. It ended and I didn't realize. And I stepped and my toe hit the ground and then rolled forward. And yeah, I had to wear an ankle brace for months. Yeah, like I said, how is it? My body's capable of growing an entire human being in less than a year, but I can't heal a wrenched ankle, you know? Like, oh. Yeah, but it will never be the same. The ankle will never be the same. Grow that outwards. Even with all the color changes, still made pretty good progress. Close by, so time to just tie this one off. Yeah, so I finally called up my physiotherapy place about getting some more acupuncture done. They actually call it dry needling rather than acupuncture, but yeah, same idea. But yeah, they don't have any spots open until end of February, so I really should have called earlier. Yeah. I should have called in like December to make an appointment for January, but I guess I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, because I was waiting for the end of year for when, because I used up all my physiotherapy allowance from our health insurance last year. So yeah, I was waiting for it to roll over to 2025 so I can do it that way. But yeah. Yeah, they don't cover it entirely. I have to pay about $15 a session, but yeah, I get usually about 6 or 7 sessions mostly paid for. So, yeah, I mean, might as well, right? Okay, so just looking at the different shapes these colors make. I'm just trying to work without closing in too much. As long as it's not on all 4 sides. That does happen very rarely, but I try to avoid that. So we have a different set of colors here that I will work later. I'm going to stick to this shape here for now. Yeah, the wing is slowly taking shape. Well, her wings are kind of folded over her back, but yeah. She is slowly appearing. Wasn't very much of her in the last pass, so we're kind of getting to the bulk of her body here. All right, so yeah, I have 2 threads. I think this one up here is not as long, so I'm going to stitch this top one until it runs out and then use the bottom one to take over. Yeah. For the rest of the stitches in this area. Oops, caught it around my finger. I hate when I do that. Yeah, perfect. This way I don't end up with leftovers from both threads. This thread is used up. said I wasn't making a lot of progress because of color changes, but actually we are getting close to breaking 200. So yeah. Not bad. Okay, so I might as well I'll stitch until this thread runs out, and then I think that will be where I take a break for today. So definitely we'll go past 200. I like to kind of mark each row as I go so I don't lose my place. Oh, what is happening there? Oh, I guess. Goodness. Got a loose loop there. Yeah, oh, must have been a bit of a knot. Snag there. Okay, there. Yeah, I think the threads might have been slightly uneven, and so I pulled one of them taut and the rest one of it didn't. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Fortunately, it was the same color, so same thread, it was easy to fix. So yeah, that's one feather motif, almost complete. So yeah, I've just been kind of going back and forth along the wing, and just sort of filling in each feather. Like I said, sometimes I go upwards, sometimes downwards. It's just whatever I feel like working on next. Not really a hard and fast rule. Okay. I think these last four should do it. Yeah, so I didn't quite complete that motif, but over 200 stitches. I'm pretty happy with that. 220. So thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you here next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.